Hello, all. Grandpa here. It's Bible Truth time again. Last time we talked about how big Noah's Ark was, and then how small the animals were. Today, let's find out where all that water from Noah's flood, the Genesis flood, came from. Have you ever seen a flood? A flood is where water covers the land. When I was 11 years old, there was a hurricane in my town called Hurricane Carla. A hurricane is a big storm with lots of wind and rain. It was the largest hurricane ever to hit Texas, other than Noah's flood, of course. No storm has ever come close to Noah's flood. Anyway, the Bible tells us that God knew there was going to be a flood. God knows everything. He knew that it was going to rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. When I was your age, this is all I knew about the flood. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. As I became older, I realized that 40 days of rain could not produce enough water to cover the mountains that are 5 miles high. What I didn't realize was after 40 days and after the rain stopped, the waters continued to rise for another 150 days. That's 5 months. How could water keep on rising for 5 months after the rain stopped? So if the Bible is correct, and it has never ever been proven wrong, then where did all that water come from? The water came from the earth itself. Genesis 7:11 says the fountains of the great deep were broken open, and then the windows of heaven were opened. The windows of heaven were open means it began to rain. The fountains of the great deep are the deep underground oceans. We have finally discovered these great underground deep oceans. In 1970, back in ancient history, the Russians tried to drill a hole to the center of the earth. The Russians are people who live on the opposite side of the earth from us. This drilling is called the Koala Super Deep Borehole Project. Just like a dentist, they drilled and drilled and drilled. Year after year, deeper and deeper they drilled. For more than 30 years of drilling, they could go no deeper. They drilled down over 7 miles, and they were surprised to find lots of water and lots of fossils down there. How did animals get covered up with that much mud and debris to become fossils that deep underground? We'll talk about that in another episode. This is what the Koala Super Deep Borehole looks like today. Beneath this rusty cap is a hole 8 inches in diameter, 7½ miles deep, full of water and fossils. This is the earth with no water on the surface oceans. If I were to take all the water on the surface oceans and put them into one big ball, it would be the size of this little blue dot. In 2014, just 6 years ago, a research team found 3 times that amount of water 400 miles deep under our feet, right down there. This huge ocean is just under the United States. If I were to put that water into a blue dot, it would be the size of the blue dot on the left. Other continents probably have giant oceans under them also. That's what the researchers are trying to find out. We know that there is also lava deep underground with this water. The Bible tells us that God lays up the deep in storehouses, Psalms 33:7. That means there's water stored deep underground. God founded the earth upon the seas and upon the waters, Psalms 24:1 and 2. That means that dry land is above the underground oceans and waters. God stretched out the earth above the waters. Psalms 136:6. This implies that the dry land is stretched out under strain above the underground waters. You know, God told King David to write down these verses in the Bible over 3,000 years ago. How could King David know that there were deep underground oceans unless God told him? Our modern science did not discover these deep underground oceans until 6 years ago in 2014. Isn't it interesting that we are just now discovering that the Bible has been right all along? The Bible is God's instruction manual for us. Do you remember how hard it was to put those Legos together without the instruction manuals? Smart people use God's instruction manual, the Bible, every day. If we let it, the Bible guides us through life like a road map, and that road leads to Jesus. So what have we learned today? Where did all that water from Noah's flood come from? It came from the deep underground, just like the Bible tells us. The Bible tells us in Genesis 7:11 that the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened, and the rain was upon the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. So where did all that rain come from? How did those deep underground oceans get to the surface of the planet? How did the water cover the whole earth? That's what we'll cover next time. Remember, the Bible is God's Word. It says what it means, and it means what it says. It has never been proven wrong. Grandpa, signing off.